In 2022, headlines screamed the death of crypto. Terra collapsed. FTX exploded. Bitcoin plummeted from nearly $70,000 to under $16,000. Celebrities deleted their tweets. Regulators circled the industry like sharks. And the phrase crypto winter wasn't just a meme. It was the mood of the entire market. Investors left. Developers gave up. Critics cheered. They said, "It's over." But here's the plot twist. It's 2025 and crypto is not only alive, it might be on the verge of something massive. So today, let's unpack what's really happening with crypto in 2025. Is it dead? Or is it about to explode? Let's begin with the comeback king, Bitcoin. In early 2023, Bitcoin slowly crawled back. But in 2024, the halving event kicked things into high gear. Block rewards dropped from 6.25 to 3.125 BTC, cutting new supply in half. Just like previous cycles, this triggered a supply shock. And with increasing institutional interest, prices began climbing again. By 2025, we're not just looking at another bull run, we're watching the most institutionalized era of Bitcoin in history. Fidelity, BlackRock, and Vanguard? They're no longer flirting with crypto, they're deep in it. Spot Bitcoin ETFs finally got approved in the US in 2024, bringing in billions in capital from traditional investors. Pension funds, family offices, and insurance companies now treat Bitcoin as a serious hedge against inflation, geopolitical risk, and fiat debasement. But this isn't just about price. The narrative around Bitcoin has evolved. In 2022, it was magic internet money. Now in 2025, it's digital gold 2.0, a macro-resilient asset class. El Salvador continues to hold it as legal tender. Other nations, not just small ones, are exploring Bitcoin reserves as a strategic asset. And don't forget ordinals. Initially controversial, Bitcoin NFTs using the ordinals protocol added a whole new layer of activity to the Bitcoin network, attracting developers and users who had long ignored it. So is Bitcoin dead? Not even close. If anything, it's graduated from rebellious experiment to global reserve contender. Ethereum upgrades. If Bitcoin is the backbone of value, Ethereum is the brain of the decentralized internet. And in 2025, Ethereum is smarter, faster, and more eco-friendly than ever before. Let's talk about the biggest upgrade since the merge in 2022, Ethereum's surge and verge. In 2024, Ethereum implemented dank sharding, drastically increasing throughput and slashing transaction costs. That means layer 2s like Arbitrum and Optimism no longer feel like temporary band-aids. They're thriving ecosystems of their own, thanks to the base layer improvements. And Ethereum isn't just scaling, it's optimizing. With Verkla trees and stateless clients on the horizon, the network is getting leaner and more decentralized. Validator participation has soared. Staked ETH crossed 30 million ETH by mid-2025, and with restaking mechanisms like EigenLayer now widely adopted, Ethereum has morphed into a security engine for the entire decentralized web. What does that mean? Other chains, dApps, and even real-world use cases can borrow Ethereum's security, making it the trust layer of Web3. Meanwhile, Ethereum's dev community is stronger than ever. Despite the bear markets and media doom, developers never stopped building. Today, we're seeing major DeFi innovations, real-world asset tokenization, decentralized identity systems, and even governments experimenting with Ethereum for CBDCs and voting systems. So, to those who said Ethereum was too slow, too expensive, or too complicated, 2025 just proved you wrong. Layer 2. Adoption. Now let's zoom into the Layer 2 revolution. Ethereum's base layer can't handle mass-scale usage on its own. We knew that. But in 2025, Layer 2 solutions aren't just filling the gap, they're thriving. We've entered the age of modular blockchains. Platforms like Optimism, Arbitrum, ZK Sync, and Starknet are seeing explosive adoption. Why? Because they offer faster speeds, lower fees, and seamless integration with Ethereum's ecosystem. And let's not forget the rise of ZK rollups, the holy grail of scalability. ZK Sync Era and Starknet are pushing zero-knowledge proofs into the mainstream. These technologies allow massive transaction compression while maintaining Ethereum-level security. Even big brands have entered the game. Reddit's community points, powered by Arbitrum, major financial firms experimenting with ZK rollups for KYC-compliant DeFi, gaming platforms building fast, cheap, Layer 2 games using Polygon or Immutable X. The best part? Layer 2s are now more interoperable than ever. Thanks to bridges like Chainlink's CCIP and Layer 0, users can move assets across ecosystems effortlessly. That means no more stuck assets, no more janky UI, and real-world usability. In 2025, we're not just talking about Layer 2 as a temporary fix. We're talking about a permanent scaling foundation for a multi-chain world. Now, let's tackle the elephant in the room: regulation. This is the battlefield where crypto either dies or explodes. Back in 2022 and 2023, regulators were confused, divided, and slow. The SEC cracked down on everything that moved. The CFTC and SEC clashed, and globally laws were inconsistent. But 2025 looks very different. After years of legal battles, we've seen regulatory clarity emerge in key regions. The US finally passed a digital assets framework in 2024, distinguishing between securities and commodities. Crypto exchanges now operate under a clear license system. Token issuers follow defined disclosures. And the SEC versus Ripple case laid the groundwork for how courts define decentralized systems. Europe is leading the charge with MiCA, Markets and Crypto Assets Regulation, already fully in effect. It's created a passporting system across the EU, making it easier for crypto firms to operate legally across borders. And Asia? Regions like Hong Kong, Singapore, and Japan are fully embracing regulated crypto innovation. Hong Kong reopened to retail crypto trading in 2023, and by 2025, it's become a Web3 capital. But regulation is a double-edged sword. Yes, it brings safety and investor protection, but it also raises barriers. Smaller projects are being squeezed out by KYC rules and compliance costs. Privacy tools like Tornado Cash are still under fire, and decentralized governance is struggling to find a legal voice. So we're left asking the same question: can crypto be both regulated and revolutionary? In 2025, we're starting to see that balance. Some countries are getting it right, fostering innovation while protecting users. Others, still catching up. But one thing is clear: crypto is now part of the global financial conversation, and regulators can no longer ignore it. Let's go back to the original question: is crypto dead in 2025, or is it about to explode? Bitcoin is stronger than ever, with institutional support and global adoption. Ethereum is transforming into a decentralized trust engine. Layer 2s are bringing real-world scalability. And regulators, while still a challenge, are finally giving the industry a framework to grow within. But let's be honest, it's not all perfect. We still have scams. Hacks still happen. Meme coins and hype cycles are alive and well. And many people are still skeptical, still burned from the crashes of the past. But if we zoom out, crypto in 2025 is not a speculative fad. It's an evolving, maturing, increasingly global financial ecosystem. One that's still young, one that's still finding its way, but one that is very, very far from dead. In fact, we may just be standing at the edge of its next explosion. So what should you be watching? Watch Bitcoin as it shifts from digital asset to macro powerhouse. Watch Ethereum as it becomes the foundational trust layer for the internet. Watch Layer 2s as they drive the next wave of decentralized applications. And watch how regulators and innovators fight, compromise, and co-create the future of finance. Crypto is no longer a niche. It's no longer just for tech bros or Twitter traders. It's in your portfolio, your bank, your games, your government, and soon, maybe even your identity. So, dead or about to explode? You tell me. If you enjoyed this breakdown, drop a like, share it with a friend who still thinks crypto is dead, and subscribe. Create my route for more in-depth deep dives into the future of tech, money, and innovation. Until next time, stay curious and keep watching the chains.